This is topic B on page 14, using specialized functions. You are already familiar with the most basic functions and formulas in Excel. You're also likely aware that there are far more complex tasks you can perform in Excel beyond adding up rows and columns and multiplying the sum by some other figure. To that end, you will need to use specialized functions to perform advanced calculations. Excel contains a large set of built-in functions in several categories that will allow you to go beyond basic mathematics and perform operations on specialized types of data such as text, dates, and times. In this topic, you will learn the syntax of specialized functions to perform calculations on a variety of worksheet data. So this section, we'll take a look at two additional functions, and those are the COUNTIF function and the TODAY function. But before we take a look at those, we just want to go over some comparison operators. You might remember these as the mathematical symbols that indicate conditions such as one figure being greater than or less than another. So on page 17 in your book, we have a table of some of the comparison operators. Page 16. Our first one is the equal sign, and this just means that the figures are equal to. Then you have your less than symbol. You have your greater than symbol. Greater than or equal to has both symbols. Sorry, that's less than or equal to. Then we have greater than or equal to. And then when both of those are facing each other, this means not equal to. So those are your comparison operators. Again, equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. So the first additional function we'll take a look at is the COUNTIF function. And if you take a look at your book on page 17, it will show you the syntax of that function. And the syntax is how you type out this particular function. It means what each argument in parentheses actually signifies. So you can see the syntax they have there. We have equals, then the name of the function, which is COUNTIF. And notice this screen tip that pops up on screen when I'm actually working with the COUNTIF function. It will show me what all of my arguments for the particular function that I'm working with are. And the one that I'm currently on will be bolded out in that screen tip. So it's showing me that the first argument is my range. Now this COUNTIF function, what it will do, it will count the number of cells that meet a specific criteria. So let's say my range that I'm looking through is my Q1 sales. Now I can type in here the range K4 through K13, or I can graphically select it with my mouse, and it will input that for me. And notice with that range, that's a defined name range, so it automatically enters the named range of Q1 for me. Now again, the particular argument that I'm located on will be bolded out in that screen tip. As soon as I hit my comma here, it moves to the next argument, which is the criteria. Now this is the criteria that you want your particular function to look for. So it's going to count the number of times it will meet the criteria that you're entering here. So suppose I want the number of times a value in here is, let's say, greater than 100,000. So I would use those comparison operators. Greater than 100,000. Closing parentheses, hit my enter key. Now an important thing that you need to know is for your criteria, when you're using comparison operators, you need to have them in double quotation marks. So that is why that error popped up on screen, and I wanted to show you that. So when I put them in double quotes, press enter here, it gives me the value of 4. So again, the syntax here equals COUNTIF, then you have your range, and then you have your criteria. So it looks through that range, and it counts the number of times that it meets this criteria of being greater than 100,000. So here, this one for Gerald Adams, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get your result of 4. Now, if I was using my insert function dialog box, let's select cell G17 and Formulas tab, insert function. Remember, you search for your function here, enter COUNTIF here, and hit my go button. Now suppose I wanted to do this for Q2 sales. Select your range, L4 through L13, which is a defined name range of Q2, and my criteria. Now, when you're working in your function argument dialog box, inserting the function this way, you do not have to enter it in double quotations, because Excel will fix the syntax for you. So I just put the criteria greater than 100,000. Click OK. Gives me the result of 7. And you can see in the formula bar at the top, again, it fixed that syntax for me. It automatically put it in double quotation marks for me. So until you're very comfortable with Excel, you might want to use that insert function dialog box just so it does correct any errors that you might miss here. So again, it gets the result of 7. It's going to count how many times it meets the criteria of being greater than 100,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's where that result comes from. All right, another function we have, a very simple function, probably one of the simplest you'll come across in this course, is the today function. This is at the bottom of page 17, and the syntax for the today function is very easy. It's equals today, and this is one of very few functions that has no arguments inside the parentheses. It's empty parentheses here. So equals today, opening parentheses, closing parentheses, nothing inside of them. And what this function does is it returns the current date in the cell. So press enter here, gives me today's date, 3/16/2020. Again, that's equals today and empty parentheses for that. Your next video will be activity 1-3 on page 19.